It must suck to be a teenager these days. Hello everyone, it is Stargirl Online. I hope you're having a lovely day. First of all, I do want to apologize. I left y'all starving last month. All I'm gonna say is I went on vacation the last 2 weeks of June. It was amazing, by the way. And I had 2 videos planned, but things just didn't work out. But I am back. I'm rejuvenated, I'm inspired, I'm ready to work. But seriously though, there is so much content that I want to work on, so I hope you guys look forward to all the videos I'll be putting out in the following week. Also, don't think I've forgotten, I am working on a few of your guys' requests. If you don't know, I have a Google form linked in the description and in my about section, which you can fill out with any topics that you would like me to cover. But yeah, it feels good to be back. Okay, I wanted to make today's video because a couple weeks ago I was scrolling on TikTok, as I always do, and I came across this really good All About Lily Shoo Shoo edit. Like, it was pretty good. It was very aesthetic, very nostalgic. But when I went to the comment section, I saw so many teens writing out things like they wish their teen years looked like that edit, and how they felt like they were wasting their youth. And I ended up going down a rabbit hole and realizing that this is a really common sentiment amongst teens these days. It really just made me sad, and I wanted to make a video talking about wasted youth syndrome and maybe give some advice to some of you who may be feeling this way. Society obsesses over being youthful. From 10-step skincare routines to maintain your youthful glow, to countless movies, TV shows, and music that glorify the teen experience. A lot of us long to return to our teen years and are even desperate to preserve whatever semblance of youth we may still have. There's this nostalgia for our teen years because it's seen as this era where we're allowed to be carefree and experimental. It's a time where we're not yet burdened by things like taxes and managing a car payment. Adults often advise teens to take advantage of their youth while they still have it.
If we could tell you young people anything, we would tell you enjoy your motherfucking youth while you got it.
But this romanticization of youth has existed for years now, and this feeling that you're wasting your youth is nothing new. I mean, I remember being 14 and watching Perks of Being a Wallflower and feeling some type of way, okay? That movie did things to me. I finished that movie wanting to be on the back of a pickup truck with my arms open like this, driving through a tunnel. Like, I wanted that. I really did. I remember thinking like, oh my god, like, what am I doing with my youth? Like, why doesn't my life look like that? But this feeling quickly subsided once I logged into Facebook and I saw what teens my age were actually doing with their lives. I realized that being a teen doesn't really look like this. It looks more like this. But these days, when you log on to social media, it seems like teens actually are out there living their lives like this. You'll see teens post these really aesthetic photos and vlogs to their Instagrams and TikToks where they're going on all these crazy adventures with this tight-knit group of friends. Seems like everyone's out partying and doing all these crazy things on Snapchat. There's also like this really weird hustle culture that exists.
He's just 19 years young, but he's already flying to Dubai on a private jet to buy himself a $120,000 Rolex watch. And of course, he has a McLaren too. But no, in this case, it's not a typical rich kid story where his parents paid for everything, because Samuel Snell from Australia has worked his way from his child's room to become a millionaire himself. And if I were you, I would check his profile out.
Like, if you look up videos on how to not waste your youth, a lot of them will give you advice on how to start hustling at a young age. There's this notion that if you're not making money as a teenager, you're wasting your time and you're not reaping the true benefits of your youth. We also have a lot of young celebrities who achieve these really major accomplishments at such a young age. So we have media that romanticizes the teen experience. We have adults that are constantly telling you that these are the best years of your life. We have 18-year-olds getting multiple Grammys. We have this weird hustle culture. And to top it all off, it actually seems like there are teens that are truly making the most of their youth. So yeah, it kind of makes sense now that if you're a teen and you're looking around and you're seeing all of this, and then you're looking back at yourself and it seems like you're doing nothing with your life, you're gonna wonder if something's wrong with you. It may seem like everyone else is actually enjoying their life while you're just in your room rotting away.
It's almost time, especially now that I'm wound up better than I was back when I didn't know this love.
But I'm here to tell you today that you shouldn't worry, okay? You should not worry that you're wasting your youth for so many reasons. First of all, this great teen experience doesn't even exist. People only show what they want to show on social media. You're not seeing the arguments that they have with their parents. You're not seeing how fake that group of friends they have really are. You're not seeing how much they stress about school or work. You're not seeing what it really is like to be a teenager. You're not seeing everything that it took to get to that moment. These people are just really good at taking little clips from their lives and putting a cool filter over it. This also might be a little controversial, but I personally don't think it's worth it to invest into hustle culture. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Yes, as a teenager, you're gonna need money to do all these fun activities, to get all these things that you want, but once it gets to a point where you're really stressing about making money, that's where I'm gonna tell you to take it back a little and enjoy your youth, okay? Also, hustle culture has been shown to have very detrimental impacts on people's mental health. It can contribute to anxiety and depression and lead to burnout. And there's definitely a good way to balance making money and actually enjoying your youth. Also, I feel like there's this really big elephant in the room that we're not addressing, and I'm gonna make a whole video on this. But if you feel like you just wasted the last 4 years of your life, which may have been your teen years, I'm gonna tell you something. We all feel that way. I don't know if we're trying to like gaslight ourselves or something, but we just went through a pandemic and it's affected all of us in so many ways, whether we want to admit it or not. Like, this was honestly a really traumatic experience and something that you really need to take the time to process. And you also need to be really kind to yourself. You need to realize that there are aspects of your situation that will keep you from having that ideal teen experience. Some of you have to take care of your family. Some of you have strict parents. Some of you are working really hard to get to college. Some of you are dealing with disabilities and or mental illnesses. It's important to acknowledge how these factors shape your teen experience and how they're gonna make you unique. And know that you're not alone in feeling this way at all. In fact, it's almost guaranteed that your teen years will suck. Psychologist Erik Erikson considers this stage of life one that is defined by a conflict between identity and role confusion. You're spending this time figuring out who you are and where your place is in this society. And you're said to develop the ego identity, which is described as the conscious sense of self that we develop through social interaction, which is constantly changing due to new experiences and information we acquire in our daily interactions with others. So it's just a fact that as a teen, you're gonna stress a lot about figuring out who you are, and you're gonna care so much about what people are doing around you and what society says you should be. So be nice to yourself. Now, a lot of you might be getting to this point in the video and you're like, okay girl, I get it, I need to be nicer to myself. But you may also be wondering, how do I not waste my youth? Now, when I was originally writing the script for this video, my solution to this problem was to ignore it, honestly.
Baby, I'm not even here. I'm a hallucination.
I am of the philosophy that you can't waste your life. I feel like you can learn something from every life that's lived, but I understand that not everyone believes in that philosophy and people aren't as optimistic as I am. I get it. So here are a few things that are a bit more tangible that you can do to take advantage of your youth and lessen some of the stress that may come with figuring out your identity. I did take some of these off from a website, but I also do truly believe that they're helpful based on my own experience. Number one, a good thing to do is to reflect on who you think you are right now. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are things you like to do? What is something that you would like to work on? Get a good sense of who you are right now and who you might want to work towards being. A second thing that I recommend is to set goals. And they don't have to be anything too crazy, okay? You don't have to be out here trying to solve world hunger, nothing like that. It can be something really simple. It's good to have goals because every day you wake up and you have something to look forward to. Make sure that when you're setting these goals that you kind of set a time frame for when you want to complete them and you outline what you're gonna do to achieve that goal. And a third thing, and I think this might be the most important thing you can do, is trying new things. I know this advice is like ran to the ground at this point, but you really do need to try new things. And I honestly recommend that you try things you think you will hate. Hear me out, okay? Growing up, I wasn't athletic. I didn't really like sports, but for some reason, once I entered high school, I wanted to try a sport. And so I tried out tennis and I ended up really liking it. And more importantly, I ended up making a lot of cool friends and finding a really good mentor. So yeah, try out things that you think you might hate. If you do end up hating it, that's okay. You can move on and try something else out. But yeah, you should definitely join any clubs you might have at school, volunteer out in your community, try out a sport. By putting yourself out there, you're expanding your comfort zone. You're gonna gain some really good skills and you might meet some really cool people who can support you through this really rough time in your life. All that being said, figuring out your identity is going to suck. It's gonna be a lot of trial and error. You're gonna experience a lot of uncomfortable and potentially embarrassing moments, and it's going to take a lot of effort. So be patient with yourself, be kind with yourself, and if you feel like you're really struggling, reach out to the people around you. It may be hard to take advantage of your youth because you're struggling with mental illnesses like anxiety, which might keep you from meeting new people and going out into the world, or depression, which can be so debilitating that you don't even want to leave your bed some days. In that case, it's really important to reach out to a trusted adult who can get you professional help. I'm going to include a list of resources that you can use. You really do deserve to feel supported. Now, let's say you reach the end of your youth and you still feel like you wasted it. This may be hard to hear, but I gotta say it.
Some of y'all about to be real mad at me, but it must be said.
Who cares? So what? Move on with your life. You can't spend your whole life worrying about what you didn't do in the past. I know this is really corny, but it's almost like you'll end up walking backwards into your future, and then once you finally turn around, you're gonna be looking at your grave, and then you're gonna be fucking mad at yourself because you just wasted your whole life worrying about what you didn't do as a teenager. Like, at some point, you need to come to terms with it and just move on. And I think it's better to just ask yourself what went wrong or what it is that you wanted out of your youth and see if you could work towards that moving forward. Also, there's really not a limit to doing all of these fun things, okay? Like, oh, you don't have to be 14 with like 10 missing assignments to frolic in a field. Like you can be a grown-ass adult and like bike into a sunset while listening to fucking Tame Impala. Like, there's no deadline on that. Don't put an expiration on these experiences, bro. Just live your life. And honestly, it kind of sounds like we're gonna be figuring out our identity for the rest of our lives, so might as well have fun with it. But okay, those have been my thoughts. As always, I would love to hear what your thoughts are. I would love to hear from some teens who could give some insight to the teen experience these days. Are there aspects of being a teen today that you think are misunderstood or completely ignored? And for the general audience, do you believe in there being the best years of your life? Personally, I feel like people who say your teen years are the best years of your life, I feel like they peaked in high school, and I feel like you can enjoy every era in your life. I don't know. I would love to hear your opinion. Also, do you think you can waste your life? And a final question, what words of wisdom would you give to the teens of today? I would love to hear your thoughts, so don't be afraid to leave them in a comment down below. I hope this video has brought some sort of comfort to those of you who feel like you're wasting your youth. But yeah, that has been all from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Love you. Take care. Bye bye.